What's up, guys? Evan here from the Worst Generation. Today I am bringing you my Edward Newgate deck profile that I just played this weekend to come in first place at Kissimmee Regional, winning me this sick, nice Luffy right here, number 17. It was an amazing event, and I know a lot of you guys are wanting to see what I had in store, so I'm going to be showing you right now. Alright, so to start off with is going to be the Searchers. So I play 4 Nami and 4 Izo. So off the bat, as you can see already, I am playing a mixed build where I am playing 4 of each Searcher. It really just gives you access to everything that your deck can provide. I made sure to keep a very even ratio between Searchers. Search targets for the Searchers. The entire weekend, I did not miss a single search off of Izo or Nami, so my ratios really worked out for me. These cards, just being able to play early game when you don't have anything else to play, and then late game for a big Makino push. I did that a few times this weekend, so they really came out and worked out for me. So for kind of like my turn 2 plays, my early game plays, I have 2 Nico Robin, and then I also play 4 Frankie. So Nico Robin, not a lot of people are playing it right now. So with the Nico Robin, it has some strong matchups against Zoro. There's a lot of Zoros out right now, so just having something that you can play turn 1 that can kind of put you ahead in the Zoro matchup. It's not going to be something that, like, it's not an auto win card or anything like that, but just having, you're going first, you play Nico Robin on curve, and it gives you a strong initial boost and then puts you ahead in the game so that you can eventually make it to the end game to out-resource him, because Zoro does not want the Wipe Your player to make it to the end game. And then you have the Frankie. It's just a nice overall well-statted body, 4/6, searchable by Nami. Just in the Wipe Your mirror matches, it can poke for 6 as well. It's hard to deal with. Yeah, it's just a really nice body in general. Also, Frankie's my favorite character. So if you're wondering why I chose Frankie as my vanilla, it was good for my ratios, but also Frankie's my favorite character, so I had to play Frankie. Next, for kind of my mid to late game ranges, I'm playing 4 Marco, and then I am playing 3 Thatch. So Marco, insane card. I think like every red deck right now is playing it except Law, but Marco, just such a well-statted body. It's hard to remove because of the resurrection skill, and then also just being able to pop something on play, like I said, against the Zoro matchups, and then anything else really that just has something low to the ground or like a blocker or something like that. Just being able to establish a good body on curve, and then also being able to pop something and giving you some more advantage plays is really nice. The Thatch is really nice because it's an annoying body to get rid of. It's not really easy to. If you're playing in something like Law, for instance, even if they Otama it, or if you're playing in something else that is playing Otama, it still becomes a 6k body, so it's the same as guarding your leader. So it's an easy body to stick on board. 8 is such a really scary number against any deck. Even if they're playing Whitebeard, swinging 8 at them without committing any Dawn to them is really good. On your 6 Dawn play, you can just throw that down on curve, and then you have life and you're protected. Or even on your 7 Dawn curve, you can just play the Thatch for 6 and then leave 1 Dawn up if you want to keep an event there, just for defensive purposes. It's really nice, and it's a body that's hard to get rid of. Also, I went for these cards specifically, especially the Thatch, for ratios, like I said, because I was playing Izo and Nami. It was really important to me that I kept my ratios even. So for my early game, I had the Straw Hat stuff. So for my mid game, I made sure to put in the Whitebeard stuff just to keep even ratios. So every card decision in mine, I was keeping in mind about what my ratios were to ensure that I wasn't whiffing on my searches. So for my rushers, I am playing 2 Monkey D. Luffy, and I am playing 3 Porcus D. Ace, or just Ace. Just insane cards overall. Ace, hand in hand with Whitebeard, just being able to play big bodies with Rush, that gives you different synergies. Ace being able to, on its own, just help you clear bodies. If you play an Ace and you just kind of have like an Izo or an Nami on board, you can -3 to a 5k body on board and then just swing 2 into their 2, and you can either easily kill the body or they have to overextend it to protect it. And then also synergies with the Nico Robin. There was a testing game earlier this weekend where I played Ace when I had the Nico Robin on board. I -3 to 2 Soga Kings and made them both 3Ks. Attached one on the Nico, swung 5 into 1, popped the other one, and then I killed 2 Soga Kings in 1 turn. And then was still able to swing 7 at their lead. So just a really strong ability with Rush, and then a strong statted body. 7 is such a good number. Making 2 card requirements or making them use their events without having to commit a lot, or being able to flexible into killing board. Rush Luffy gives you something to do on your 5-drawn turn if they don't have anything to pop with Marco. You can be aggressive with it, or there was even a game today where I played it on curve and I left it there because they had a bunch of blockers up, so I was ready to stack it on him and go for game. Getting over blockers is such an important thing because sometimes you're just playing against a deck like black or green, or even sometimes they're playing against red and they just have a bunch of weenie blockers on board, and being able just to throw a body on board and then kind of sneak in a win that they're not prepared for is really good. And like I said, I have my 2 Straw Hats and my 3 Whitebeards, so even with my my Rush decisions, I'm still trying to keep it even between the Straw Hats and my Whitebeard. So as I said, I'm always keeping that in mind when I'm making these decisions. So of course, my limited cards, I am playing the Marco, I am playing the Newgate. They're at 1. Obviously, I'd like to be playing more of them. They're nice when I see them. I think I only got to play Marco once all weekend long. It was super nice when I did play it. The Edward Newgate, I did play it a few times. It was super nice when I did play it. There were a couple games where I did have it, and I was just never given the opportunity to play it. But it's really nice because a lot of players right now with Newgate, I mean, I don't really have to tell you guys why it's a good card. It's a limited card for a reason, but especially since it's limited, a lot of players just don't respect it. They don't play around it, and they're like, well, it's at 1. I'm just going to hope that you don't have it, and then you have it, and then you play it down, and it really punishes them. So that definitely gave me a lot of advantages this weekend, where they left me at like 2 or 3 life because they were like, I'm just not going to play around this card, and I had it, and it was really devastating for them. I also, for along with the blockers, I do play 2 Tony Choppers. The reason why I play these as my blockers, Whitebeard does have access to a 2/2 with counter blocker, and I was really thinking about playing it. But one reason was, like I've said all video long, ratios. I wanted to make sure that my Straw Hat, my Whitebeard ratios were even, and if I would have cut down on these and then put in the Whitebeard blocker, my ratios would have been off, and I was really worried about whiffing my searches. Also, Whitebeard's a weird deck where your curve out and what you're playing every turn matters, especially between the difference between 1 and 2 Dawn, where if I have like a Radical Beam in hand or a counter event in hand, playing 1 Dawn for a blocker and then having the other Dawn for events really can matter, versus having to expend 2 Dawn and then not having it. For instance, like on my Ace turn, if I'm at that 10 Dawn, I can play an Ace for 7 and I can play a Chopper for 1, and then now I still have 2 Dawn active for events. So whether or not I want to play a 2 Dawn event or if I want to play 1 Dawn event, where if I would have had a 2-drop blocker, I'd only be leaving myself with 1, which can really limit yourself. So even though it does not have counter, searchable by Nami, and then also just the Dawn resource management really helps out. So 2Ks, I play 4 Jozu, 4 Sanji, and then I also play 4 Makino. So Jozu, only 2K searchable by Izo, only Whitebeard 2K. It's still a really good effect though. It has Rush, so just having another thing with Rush. I never played it, but it came up one time where I had an option to play it for Rush, but I ended up not needing to because my opponent did something differently guarding that turn, so I didn't need to go for that play. But there's definitely times where sometimes like just having a 4/4 with rush matters. Sanji, I chose that as my 2K just because it can get big for no reason. But honestly, I never played this once all weekend long. It could be any 2K you wanted as long as it's Straw Hat 2K. I made sure to keep 4 searchable 2Ks for both Izo and for Nami, like I said, for ratio purposes. So whatever 2K you want to choose, it really does not matter more. If I went back, I might have even put in the Luffy's instead because the Luffy's might have came up more. I never once played Sanji, so as long as it has Straw Hat name, you could be playing Usopp if you wanted to be honest. Makino, such an important card. A lot of the time you play your Nami or Izo turn 1 or turn 2, and it just sits there the entire game and does nothing. And I won like 3, maybe even 4 games this weekend where I had a Nami and Izo just sitting there the entire game doing nothing, and then I smacked down double Makino and I swung for game. And it just pushes you ahead so much. Turning a 1-drop that you got a plus on early on and is just a body on board the entire game and turning that into a lethal attacker. I had a Nami that swung for 12 for game at one point this weekend, and it was really powerful, really strong thing. I definitely would not have had the success without Makino. I know some people are playing Otama, and I was definitely testing out Otama, but Makino in testing turned out to be a very pivotal card that I wanted, and then in actuality it just became like the thing that really pushed me over in a lot of games. So definitely a card I recommend. It is the only card in my entire deck right now that is not searchable by Nami or Izo, but even so, it was such a powerful card that I had to play it even though it's not searchable. So for events, I have 1 Radical Beam. I am playing 4 Guard Point. I have 1 Red Hawk, and I am also playing 2 Crossfire. So, kind of heavy for events, I understand. Radical Beam, it's a 1/4, what else can I say? Whitebeard gets down really low, it's really easy to meet the condition. Guard Point, it's also a 1 Dawn event card. Getting 1 for 3 is still really, really good. It's not as good as Radical Beam, obviously, but just having that 1 for 3 at all times is super nice. I was playing the 1 Fire Fist. The Fire Fist is kind of like a weird tech option. I wanted to try it out because Zoro plays a lot of things that are poppable by the Fire Fist, and so does Law, and then so there's decks that play blockers. I played against a Dofi player this weekend that I was able to pop their Dofi blocker with the Fire Fist because they weren't playing around it, because you don't really play around it a lot when you're playing against Law. Also, they just kind of play it off of leader effect, and then it's on board after they swing, and I get to pop it, and they don't get an option out of it. Crossfire. Crossfire is a really flexible card. It is a main effect and a counter effect, so you can use it defensively or aggressively. The main purposes for playing this card: it gives you a defense counter that you can get off of Izo because the rest of these are Straw Hats. So just having something that you can grab off the Izo was kind of important to me. And then also against green and black, this card is very helpful in those matchups. Funny enough, the only green I played against all weekend was a single Law player, where I was holding on to the Crossfire all match for the time to use it, and then he never gave me an opportunity to use it because he just never had the thing that I wanted to use it against for like the double swing turn, because the Crossfire works for the rest of the turn. So if they put a bunch of Dawn on a character and they play in a double swing with it, I can -4 to it for both attacks, and it makes it a lot more manageable to deal with. Or even if you have 2 Crossfires in some magical world. Or a lot of decks in the format, people started playing 8-drop kid again, and being able to -4 to an 8-drop kid, and then making that 4 and swinging into it really upsets people. I didn't get to use it once like that, but in testing it worked out really, really well. And I was expecting to probably see like maybe like a Film Kid or some sort of deck that was utilizing 8-drop Kid at some point this weekend. I never did, but I was glad that I was prepared for it. Also, kind of a harder matchup is Black. And something that you're scared of in that deck is when they play Sakazuki, which is a 7k. So if you can minus the Sakazuki down to a 3k, it's poppable by Nami, and it's poppable by Marco, or it just makes it a lot more manageable to kill by swinging into it. So that was like some of the bigger reasons why I'm playing the Crossfire. I never got to do it a single time, so I was playing it. It did come up like just defensively as like a searchable counter event for Ezo, so that was very nice, the fact that it's searchable by the Ezo and it's something to use defensively. But for all like the matchup spreads that I was preparing for with this card, it never came up because everyone was just playing red basically this weekend. But in a best of one tournament, it's always nice to just have like outs to your matchups that are searchable, that also has flexibility against other things. That was the deck profile. I went undefeated with it this weekend. I got to play a lot of amazing people. I played against a Dofi. I played against 2 Whitebeard mirror matches. I played against a Katakuri player. I played against 3 Whitebeards. I played against a Law player. I think that's everything. I might be forgetting something, but I'm pretty sure that's everything. Thank you so much, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the deck profile. Let me know if you guys would have done something different. Let me know what you guys are doing in your Whitebeard lists. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what you guys want to see in the future. Thank you so much, everybody, and I'll see you guys on the next one.